Welcome to Rough Cuts, everyone. Talk about movie. Hey, what do you think of movie? Reaction. Well, that was a good episode. See you next time. Man, all right. Well, we got our contractual obligation done, so I think we could just leave and just upload that. No one will give a shit, right?
Welcome to Rough Cuts. Well,
All right.
I'm Ilyon, and this is Den Mother Boyks.
I'm the Boyks. Hello. That's more energy than this movie gave any of us.
Yeah. You knew what we were getting into, and you did it because you wanted to get back at me for saying that we should watch Love on a Leash. Are you
Yes.
fucking happy? Are you satisfied?
No, I feel like I need to get back at you more, and I'm also upset that this movie backfired and made me mad.
Like, that's not my problem, though. You did this to yourself.
Look, you're not wrong.
Oh, God. Okay. For the people, raise your hand if you've heard of the Asylum. The really, really funny people that do such cool, funny schlock movies like Sharknado.
The Atlantic Rim Resurrection.
Transmorphers.
Alien Predators.
The Terminators.
American Psychos. With an S.
Triassic World.
Fast and Fierce.
Snakes on a Train.
Death Race.
Avengers Grimm. Avengers Grimm Time War. Was that what it was?
I think so.
Yeah,
Time War.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea of Asylum that somehow mainstream people didn't catch on to even once Sharknado came out is they are specifically here to cash in on mistakes. So somebody else does a movie, and then what they do is they make a movie that is legally distinct but has a very similar title, and then they pretty much all of their production goes into getting a good cover art for their actual, like, or at least back in the day it definitely did, back when blockbusters were still
Kind
around.
of, yeah.
Like, they would try and get, like, a lot of their production value would go into that more than anything, to just try and get, like, as close of a looking poster kind of cover to what the other movie is as possible, so that grandma, when she's like asking about it in the store, or later on people when they try and like Google search it or something, accidentally end up hitting the wrong thing and buying it by accident. That's their business model. It's a hi, I don't know that I'm legally allowed to say this. I am not saying they're actually breaking the law, but it's a scam. Like, I have to say that just because I don't want to get sued. But
legally, we're saying that they are not scam artists, but what they are doing is what a scam artist would do.
Exactly what scam artists do.
So what's interesting about the movie poster, because you're mentioning that they usually make interesting or close-looking movie posters to trick you.
Oh, I didn't say interesting. I did not.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
Don't you fucking dare.
But what I'm saying is, this movie actually had 3 movie posters.
Yes.
In different varieties to try and trick you. So
yes.
There's the original movie poster, which shows our little dead Rotting Hood character in her red cloak that she doesn't wear ever in the whole movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
And she has like a normal looking human face, and there's not really anything showing. And then, okay, that's whatever. There's a second version of that where they edit out her face for a really shitty looking monster face to make you think it's a monster movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a third one where they superimpose a fake belly on her with a tribal tattoo to show some skin.
To give even more. Well, they all show skin, but that one shows more skin.
Even more to try and entice you to watch it, because now it's a sexy movie, right?
Yes.
So like everything about it is just so cynical, and they're trying to one beat, like it almost feels like they're trying to beat an algorithm to try and make people
Yeah.
click on it or
Yes.
pick it up. And the other thing is they're trying to fill a quota of, oh well, we have to release a movie for sci-fi for Saturday like a month from now. So I
Hmm.
guess we'll just check the boxes and then
Yeah, it's one of those
release
things
it.
where they probably get like hired on where they're producing like made for TV style movies that go on like Sci-Fi Network and all these kinds of places. And they're contractually obligated to put out so many movies every so often, like based on various contracts, and they just shit them out.
Because
Like,
this is the first of 5 that he made
hmm
that
in
year.
that year, right?
for whatever network. I assume Sci-Fi because they're the ones airing all this garbage.
Yeah.
But like you can't release 5 movies in a year and expect any quality. So they're not. I don't think they expect quality. First of all,
No.
but like there's nothing to it. Like so you and I we watch a lot of bad movies, right? Like we
Yes.
would consider
Yep.
ourselves connoisseurs of terrible films in
At
some
least a little
aspect.
bit. Yeah.
The Asylum movies aren't terrible movies. They're
No.
just they're like a shrug,
Yep.
I guess. They're the equivalent of who cares?
They are made. I figured that we had to do one of these simply to satisfy the quota so that we could actually talk about Asylum at one point.
Yeah, at some
Because it's
point.
kind of important because a lot of people get tricked into thinking. People see B movies and they see like the Room trend and people like the Room and they see like Trolls 2 and they see all those kinds of things. And then they see Sharknado and they go, oh, this must be those bad movies that everybody likes. But it's not. Like
No.
they're wildly different and people don't understand or know why. Like there's a mainstream audience that hears about, oh, bad movies are funny, and so then they kind of get sucked into these, and that's kind of what Asylum capitalizes on. Also, they capitalize on two different things. They either try and get you to buy it by mistake, or they do the like trying to be, ah ha ha, look, it's so bad that it's good. The problem with that is you can't make a movie bad on purpose and have it work.
No.
Not really. Like
Like
there's a very 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 few exceptions. But those are normally meant to like mock certain things, like for example, Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
I
But
love Lost Skeleton and Cadavra. Can we
it's
talk
so
about
good.
Lost Skeleton and Cadavra?
Yeah.
Let's take
But
50
like that
minutes.
that one's actually a satire. That's a
It's so
satire
good.
of something. Like it's a satire and it's funny. It's not actually like
Yeah.
these are just trying to be a bad B movie, and you can't just make a bad B movie. You can't do that. That's not the point. The reason why those kinds of B movies work, like Troll 2 and Room and like Miami Connection and all those kinds of movies that are really classic bad movies that are really funny to watch, Samurai Cop, is that there were people on set that like truly believed in the project.
Yeah, so when you're making a movie, for it to be a good bad movie, the intent can't be that I'm going to go out and make something terrible. There has
No.
to be heart. There has to be a drive to make a product that you're actually going to be proud of. And then, because of all your stupid decisions, it just turned out terrible.
Because of
That's not.
incredible incompetence.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's incompetence. It's not I'm competent and this is terrible. Like that's not how it
Yeah.
works. Because then you get bland.
Yeah, the idea.
But
Well, those other ones, like they have a heart to them. There's something about it where it's
yeah,
like people pouring their heart into something, and it just kind of backfiring in the weirdest ways is really funny because, like, you
yeah,
can tell there's a lot of those movies are often hilarious, but it's because of the fact that they're not intended to be funny.
and
These they try and like get like one-liners and stuff that are funny but aren't. Like they're just miserable things like, "Oh, but she was real crexy though." What's crexy mean? Creepy
or
sexy.
or if they say like, "Oh, does a bear poop in the woods?"
Yes.
Yeah,
And then the kids laugh slightly.
like
Like, yeah.
I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite B movies real quick and why I
Sure.
think it's good. So let's talk about Tracks. this is our moment to talk about tracks. So when you're making a movie and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do something cool and it's going to be interesting and everybody's going to like it. So we're going to start the film with our cop character slash ex Rambo riding a skateboard on the back of a police car with a gun drawn into a pet shop so he can shoot a guy who's holding a dog.
Yes.
Or something, and just go in through the window like blam blam, fuck yeah, tracks. like that scene is fucking stupid. It's so fucking dumb.
Trax has one of the end villains go like, well, Trax, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna end your life. And then he goes to drive away, but as he's driving away, he farts really loud.
And it blows up the car.
Blows him up and he dies. And that's the end of that villain.
I fucking...
Like that?
Yes.
Things like that, where it's like, is this supposed to be funny? Or is this just, they made the movie and didn't know how to end it? Like, it's stuff like that that makes those movies interesting. This doesn't have any of that.
No.
Do we want to talk more about tracks? Should we actually talk about what this movie does?
Look, I could talk for hours about tracks, but what I'm getting at is they had a vision for what they wanted and they fucking went for it, right?
Yeah.
Like this movie has some trickling of ideas of what they want, but they never go far enough to hit that campy B movie aspect that you would hope to expect from a fucking movie called Little Dead Riding Hood, right?
Well, the reason why is that what they want out of this movie is, like you said, it's the equivalent of like the YouTube algorithm videos that are like Elsa and Shrek meet at the Enchanted Fort, like that they hit all the keywords, right? Like
that's all.
Okay, what's popular this week? Elsa, Shrek, like the shark song, and it's like, oh, Elsa and Shrek meet the baby shark and swim through the water, and it's just like this weird algorithm video, and that's all they're doing with these, is like there is contractually obligated things essentially in this. Oh god, like I just want to get through like little bits and pieces of it. Like for example, the sex scene in this, right?
That scene was like really gratuitous.
And well, of course it is, because that's what they're trying to sell you. Like this is marketing the movie. There is a scene in which there's a woman that answers a call. So like at the beginning, our main character gets mauled by a dog, a wolf thing. And then Marina Sirtis shows up for 5 seconds to do a ritual, say that she's going to come back to life, and then die, because Marina Sirtis cannot be fucked to be here for longer than that. And then, like, so then they're like trying to find the missing girl, because her grandmother's dead, but where is she? And she's buried in a grave underneath her grandmother, and the cops are too fucking stupid to realize it.
6 inches underground. There's nothing on top of it.
6 inches underground.
Yeah.
But we can get into that. But when they're looking for her, like their introduction to the sex scene it's a non sequitur, because they don't care. They just they know that there needs to be a sex scene, so they have to just go into it. So what they do is they get like a phone call. They're like, oh hey, you're her friend. Have you seen her? We've never been introduced to who this woman is. We've never been introduced to who the main character is. We've seen nothing about her. The movie opens with her being mauled in the woods. Like, that's where it opens. And so we have no backstory on either of these people. And then it just calls her, and she picks up her phone, and she's like, oh no, I haven't seen her around. All right, see ya, bye. Hangs up, and then she goes, hey, you ready for sex time? And turns on, like, probably some royalty-free music.
It's something that they could very cheaply like use on the movie.
And
it's even
whatever.
It's even worse than you think, because they go into like a full slow striptease.
Yes.
And she pulls off her bra, which okay, sure, boobs, but then they go further.
I was surprised at how far they went. Yeah.
She pulls down her pants, they show everything almost, like it's like 90%. And then they start fucking on the couch, like it's very graphic.
Softcore porn, yeah. And for like 3 minutes, and then those two characters get mauled by a wolf that's in their house.
Yeah,
that
somehow.
teleports in. Like it teleports into their house because he hears a growl, gets up, looks around for it, and goes, "Oh, it's nothing. It must just been the cat." And then he goes back to the couch, and the wolf just like portals in. Like it's amazingly stupid. I say amazingly
and then the
stupid, but
scene
I don't
was
mean
just
that in
done.
a funny
Like,
way.
the cops show up later just to like be like, oh, they died, oh no, a wolf, and just to show more skin. Of course, they need to show the dead body skin too, because why not?
Yeah, they've got to show her dead with being naked. They have to show her naked a bunch. Like, and then when they're being mauled by the wolf, they have to show him being mauled by the wolf, but it's constantly interspersed with her naked on the couch, screaming, because you have to show
him
her
with
naked
his
a whole
clothes
lot.
back on.
Yes.
Her completely naked still, because of course.
Yeah, no, that's the whole purpose of that scene. And that's the kind of thing that this movie is that nothing follows an actual plot structure or regular, like it doesn't follow characters or plot structure. It doesn't bother setting that stuff up. It is just essentially a point A, point B, point C thing to get you spot to spot to spot for their set pieces that they have to have so that they can market it as a movie. Like this is something where the trailer, like they probably make the movie with the trailer in mind and like everything in mind right away, where they're like, okay, this is how we're going to have the trailer set up. We have to make sure that we have this kind of a sexy scene. Sure. We have to have a scene of like kids partying. We have to have a scene of like a werewolf transformation. Like they have to like knock out all the different things. They're like, we're going to need this for the trailer so that we can sell it off as some kind of movie that people will want to watch for these reasons, right? Like, yep. It is incredibly cynical and crass and just disgusting in so many ways. But anyway, so she dies. They're calling around trying to find where she is. We get introduced to all the different characters and things. Like, God, I don't know how to talk about this film.
There are
characters.
It's not much of a film. There's Guy who is girlfriend's boyfriend.
Yes.
There's Cop, who has no range of emotions at all.
Not even a little bit, yeah.
There's Deputy, who is teenager cop, who's actually 50.
Yes, he is. When we say teenager cop who's actually 50, it's because he has like the Crexy line, oh, she's creepy sexy, and just different things. Like he's like, I don't want to be here. I'm not gonna go out in the woods and fight these werewolves. And like that's his line delivery. He literally sounds like he's a tantruming like 14-year-old. It's pretty embarrassing.
There's random townsfolk. Yes. And then there's the most important character, which is Prospector Joe.
Prospector Joe! Yo, you can't take my flamethrower! I'm out here gonna blow these wolves all to pieces with my flamethrower!
Yeah, who said you could come out here and not give me a flamethrower? I'm gonna fight them wolves. I told you not to go in them woods. Cletus is gonna get attacked if you go in them woods.
Yeah, he's the Death Omen guy. So you know how like a horror movie, again, like this, it's a checklist.
But okay, here's the thing though. They set up a character that I like and that I think is funny, and they did not utilize him in any possible way that would actually be entertaining or justified to have that character.
No, because it's an accident. It's an accident that it happened. It's an accident that happened.
It's like if you took Warwick the Warlock from Spooky Buddies and didn't do anything funny with him at all in the entire movie. Like it's
yeah,
like
you have him in their movie for 2 minutes. It's the Air Bud 5. It's Air Bud 5. It's like Wolverine and the Blob that we had that we're doing like the bank heist, but they're in the movie for 3 minutes because that's the only well of creativity that they had.
It's the only interesting character, and I'm 99% sure that is all on the actor and not anything in the writing or the director. Oh, the actor just decided, I'm gonna be this fucking guy. And they went with it.
But like, it's hard to talk about this film because it's like, so the thing is it's so hard to talk about because it's a competently shot. Movie. Yeah, it's competently shot. It is like the acting is bad and bland, but it's not interesting bad. It's just everybody kind of just talks like this all the time. That's all they do. It just sounds like they're just talking, reading off the script in their off time. Like, it doesn't sound like they're acting at all. Almost nobody actually delivers a line. So, like, that's you get that. Those are the, like, for the acting and for the cinematography. The cinematography is like just it's a bunch of foggy shots in the woods, and they're competently lit. Like, nobody is in the dark. It's not Dogs where everybody is. It's like total darkness all the time, and you can't see what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
But it's bland and lazy. It doesn't look good. It's there. It's competent. And like, the script is nothing. Like, the story makes no sense and just kind of goes from one thing to the next. Like, it would be an embarrassingly bad episode of Xena Warrior Princess, which is kind of the energy that it has. Like, it feels like
it would be like the
CW show.
PlayStation 1 version of Xena Warrior Princess. That's
Yeah,
what it would be
yeah.
like. Yeah. Oh
So
my
it's got
God.
that kind of an energy and story to it. So, I mean, like, okay, so she dies, she gets buried in the woods, and the grandmother, like, does a blood ritual to bring her back, and she's like, I had to sacrifice you this way. And then they're looking for her. In the meantime, all the wolves start mauling kids. They maul somebody at a party.
Yeah, they kind of just kill people for no reason at all,
Yeah,
ever.
there's no setup for it. There's no reason. They don't say, like, there's not like a thing where they're dumping toxic waste into where the wolves live. There's no, like, oh, they encroach on the, they're bulldozing an area and it happens to be like a den of wolves. Like,
let's compare this again to another B movie. So, like, Trauma makes throwaway B movies, right?
Yeah.
The Trauma is sometimes compared to Asylum. Asylum's like the Trauma of this age, and it's not remotely true.
That. That's
Trauma,
so unfair to Trauma.
Like let's look at the Toxic Avenger, right?
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger is a movie about a kid that gets bullied. He gets thrown into a toxic waste barrel and then turns into the Toxic Avenger and brutally murders people while people cheer him on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a setup and a payoff. There's a plot. In this movie, it's just, oh, well, it's that time of year, so I guess the wolves are killing people now. Right? Like, there's no point. There's no fucking point. None of it matters. I've never been so disinterested in, like, just people dying in a movie. I don't care.
There's a lot of action scenes and stuff, but it just doesn't do anything. And of course, again, the action scenes is, like, very loosely stated here. I mean, it's action in the way that, like, a Hercules or a Xena Warrior Princess is, where it's like
action in that they're, like, lifting up plastic guns as smoke effects appear on,
Yeah, or like when later on, so all the townspeople are getting mauled. Sheriff is looking around for the people. There's a bunch of, like, little side plots that do absolutely nothing and go nowhere, like the striptease scene. Or the fact that, like, the sheriff guy is like, oh, my wife wants me to take the kids for this week. And that doesn't develop in the slightest. It's there simply so that they can have, in the marketing material, in the trailer somewhere, they can show guy with his kids that's like, oh, he's a family man. Like, that, it's a total cynical thing again, I'm sure. Like, they probably had some kind of marketing that said, oh, well, it sells this much better if we have a guy that has kids in the scene. Like, it's all just checklist things. So, like, his kids show up in 2 scenes. Like, they just come in, he takes them, and he's like, oh no, I forgot they're even showing up. This is a bad time for them to show up. And then he goes, oh, I'll put them in the station. And he puts them in the police station, and they never show up in this movie again. And then she gets resurrected. She's going out killing wolves, but she also looks like a wolf, which is fucking weird. Like, she's got weird claw hands and a very bad glow effect on her eyes.
Okay, so they went through the effort of giving her contacts so that she has black, completely filled eyes, right?
Yes.
And then they're like, that's not enough.
Yep.
She doesn't look scary, so we need to also put, like, a shitty Photoshop effect over her eyes to make them glow for half a second.
Yep.
For no reason. There's no reason.
Well, and it's really sloppily done. Like, it's all over her eyelids and stuff. Like, it doesn't even really match the eyes. Like, somebody did, like, a 2-second swipe of an effect over top of it with the brush and didn't actually, like, bother having it come from the eyes and give it a glow or anything. Like,
if they already went through the effort of giving her the contacts, why do you care? What's the point? you're gonna put the minimal amount of effort to Photoshop something in that doesn't even matter. No one cares.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Fuck
they
you.
went that far because it's like I said, most of it's just such lazy checklist. It's surprising that they even bothered to do that, right? Like seriously, it's kind of surprising that they
But
actually cared enough.
yeah, so
Um,
like after the wolves are attacking everybody randomly for no reason at all, the cop gets a posse around,
yeah.
including our prospector Joe with his flamethrower, which he immediately takes away because we can't have Prospector Joe just indiscriminately flamethrowering wolves in the woods, I guess.
This is like
Um,
one of the only things they actually, that they're gonna set up and pay off. And I was like, oh man, they're actually gonna set up like the flamethrower and they're gonna use it later. I mean, it doesn't actually matter. They use
no,
it
it's
and it doesn't do
pointless.
anything.
But
But
anyway, the
you
posse
know that
gets
they're gonna use it.
attacked.
It's I
Yeah,
hold up. You have to let me say this though. You're
no.
going ahead too fast because I'm using this as a moment to say one thing that I wanted to say. 2 words.
Uh-huh.
Chekhov's flamethrower.
Thank
Anyways,
you.
yes. So go. That's all I wanted to do. That's the only reason why I needed to talk there.
So the group gets attacked, including Cletus, who had a bloodhound dog who was very adorable.
Oh yeah, the bloodhound
Thankfully, the
dog
dog was
is a
fine.
very good boy.
But they all get attacked. They keep going back and forth between like the police station and the woods, and the police station and Grandma's house, and the woods and Grandma's house, and the police station and the woods and Grandma's house, and on and on and on. They never actually do anything or go anywhere. And eventually, the cops are all in a room in the most motion sick fucking shot thing ever, and they just keep panning back and forth between this board with a wolf on it over some map, saying, well, these wolves are different and they're not from around here, so they must be some other breed of wolf. Haha, like a werewolf XD?
Yeah, well, you can get silver bullets. And the reason why this is so you mentioned that it's nauseating. Like,
I wanted
why
to
is it so
vomit.
nauseating?
I hate it. Because so the whole movie is shot like you're on a moving ship, like the waves are pushing the camera to the side on every scene, and it's to try and make it more action and interesting, but it's in like still shots where characters should be talking back and forth,
Yeah.
and there's these quick cuts of character face room, pan left, pan right, pan left, pan right, quick shot, zoom in, zoom out, pan left, pan right. Can you just fucking stop?
Yeah.
Let me look at the scene.
It's
The fuck?
all to try and instill it with this kind of false energy that doesn't work because none of
No.
the actors have any energy and the scene doesn't have any energy and it doesn't even need any energy. It's just an exposition scene. But they don't understand, like, they know that their movie's boring. So they have to try and do something about it. And what it ends up doing is it ends up giving you motion sickness. It sucks.
You remember that scene where they were sitting at the diner and he ordered a full butchered cut piece of beef? Like
From the
35
diner.
pounds from the
Yeah,
diner?
and it, like when we say diner, we mean like the old like silver trailer,
like a 1950s
like
trailer
diner car. Yeah.
They butchered their own cows in the back of that, apparently.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you guys cut your own meat in here, right? And he's like, yeah, and we got 35-pound slabs of ribeye. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what?
So eventually, girlfriend wakes up. She's a monster. Boyfriend finds her. They find a book in her grandma's house, which looks less like a grandma's house than her apartment, which is actually grandma's house.
Yes.
And the book looks like it was drawn by a 12-year-old. And somehow Spooky Buddies made a better spooky book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drawings in this are comically pathetic. It's just
so bad.
This movie has the energy, like I said, like with Teen Cop. I was talking about this while we watched it. With Teen Cop and his like funny one-liners, quote unquote, and attitude, and how he's kind of like the humorous sidekick or something. It feels like this whole movie is written and directed by a particularly edgy 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And it has that energy throughout it, including like this book feels like something that a 14-year-old would draw, where they're like, man, there's like werewolves in the woods, and there's this really cool character that I like who's OC, don't steal.
Yeah, and they have a sword.
He's got like a hood and a sword.
And a magic cloak.
Yeah.
And the sword glows red sometimes. And when they're fighting Shadow the Hedgehog, they...
Yeah, it's got that... It has that energy to it, and it looks like it. Like, the sword is... The sword drawings and stuff, and the drawings of the character are just comically inept. And I say comically inept, but I should just say inept, because it's not funny.
They're just inept. There's nothing funny about it. It's so bad. So the book mentions is it Mega Wolf?
They say the Den Mother, and then they say it's a Mega Wolf.
Mega Wolf. Because they're trying to make it spooky and scary.
Wolf with abs, baby!
So on the autumn equinox, the Mega Wolf
yeah
comes out. So they get the cop, his deputy, boyfriend and girlfriend to go to a spooky cave because it's spooky because it has a skeleton. Skeletons are spooky. And they find some towels with ink
with the
on
bad
them,
14-year-old drawings on them. Same drawings, yeah.
hanging in the cave, and then three goth guys come out from the towels, and they're like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Hey guys, we've been expecting you.
They're just like, "Hey, how's it going? Fancy seeing you here." And then they transform.
And then they shake weirdly and turn very bad CGI into
really
wolves.
Shitty CG Mega Wolf comes out with his abs with 6 boobs because they all have nipples.
Yep.
And I don't...
Yeah, and standing up on 2 legs, and it's like 20, 30
it's like
feet
a free
tall.
asset they found on some website. It looks so awful.
Yes. Yeah, it looked like it has very much free asset energy. Like, you could just get this in Unity or something. Like, it's like a Unity store asset of like bad werewolf, and they just stretched it so it was comically large, and then they fight in the loosest sense this wolf of, again, like you said, raising plastic guns while little puffs of smoke come out, and like I said, like as I was saying earlier, it kind of has the Xena warrior princess or Hercules style fight choreography for the actual lead girl.
God, she sucks.
Little
she doesn't
Dead
do
Riding
fucking
Hood,
anything.
where it's just like, well, it'll show her like do a swing, and then it'll cut to the other person reacting to it. But there won't even be an arm in the other scene.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it won't show any. There's no scene where her and the villain are together at all. Right? Like, it'll be a close-up shot of her doing a motion, and then a close-up shot of the villain with a reaction. And that's the choreography of a fight scene. And if that sounds low energy and awful to you, it is. Boring. It is.
So the whole point is they set up a twist in this film.
Yes.
So
because throughout this whole thing, there's been
so there's an antagonist, Becky Sanders, who keeps showing up and basically just having a nice friendly chat with the cop and then leaving about, hey, you gotta stop encroaching on our land of the wolves, man, or they're gonna like kill you and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and that only shows up like 40 minutes into the film. Like, her first appearance, she shows up and she goes, well, she's like, well, you guys are out here encroaching on their land.
Guess. And then after the cave scene, she shows up at the police station. She's like, hey, your deputy died last night and it was totally cool because I did it. Ha 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 ha. You should arrest me.
And then he goes, all right, I guess I'll arrest you. And so they put her in jail. Yeah. And that's it.
And then
and it's like, oh, she's the den mother. She must be.
Then,
and it's like,
then the cop,
pretty obvious.
The cop's like, okay, I got her. So I'm going to go talk to this other cop who said she's not an expert on wolves, but let me tell you my expert opinion on wolves to the cops. And they show up in the woods again in the middle of nowhere, so they don't have to shoot anything. And it turns out,
well, like, he finds her in the middle of the woods. He goes to see this cop, and she's just standing in there in the middle of the foggy woods with no car around. She just, And that's how you find people, right? Like, you just go meet them in the woods.
It's convenient to the plot. So she was there, and he found her.
Yeah.
Okay. So the cop is, like, answering questions. They're talking back and forth. You gotta go talk to this girl. She said that she was, like, killing my partner and stuff. And that's bad. And I think she's, like, evil and things. Oh, no, that's not her, honey. She's just a werewolf, like me. And she's just trying to take over, but I'm actually the werewolf that controls everything and the mega wolf, so you gotta, like, step off, honey. Oh, but no, you gotta talk to her because she's evil.
Yeah.
Okay, you're asking too many questions, so I'm gonna kill you now. Okay.
That's the conversation. Yeah, it's pretty amazing because, like, she goes, like, you don't have any idea what the world's really like, that werewolves really exist. And he's like, well, oh, but, like, the woman back there, like, she seems bad. Should we talk to her? And she goes, werewolves are real and we're gonna kill you.
That's
And
not what I said, though.
Maybe the girl in the prison is like, and it's like, dude, like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on, can we make this cop have any range or intelligence at all? Because, like, he's sitting there and she's constantly, like, monologuing at him, and he's just like, so you're gonna go talk to that suspect I talked about? I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, it's like she's talking past him to the audience.
Yes.
For no reason.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the reason is that they assume that their audience is that stupid.
I don't know, man. People that tell me to watch Asylum movies, I think, might actually be that stupid. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Like, the Asylum movie... not to insult you if you like Asylum
I'm gonna
movies,
be... I will insult. I'm sorry. Watch better bad movies.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, well, and also, like, honestly, I feel that their business model is... if not illegal, certainly unethical in pretty much every possible way. Like, it's just sickening the way that they market these movies and how they do it. It sucks. I always hate how popular Sharknado got, because, like, I knew about Asylum before that and what they did, and it actually became a thing, was so incredibly obnoxious.
So
anyway,
the mega wolf.
She transforms.
So the mega wolf follows the cop back into town after his car stops working because it was convenient that the car stopped working. Him and boyfriend meet up with girlfriend, who is also monster, and they run back into town. Everybody in town, including the police SWAT team, that this little town of like 50 people has 20 SWAT members.
Well, and the SWAT team, they all have different helmets. Some of them are very obviously like World War I knockoff helmets. Some of them are World War II things.
The costumes in this movie are just a mishmash of random, appropriate, quote-unquote, costumes. Like, the cops all have different costumes from different precincts. Just because they had extra cop uniforms from previous movies, they're like, well, let's use those. It doesn't matter if they match.
We have 2 of these cop uniforms and 5 of these ones.
The SWAT ones are the same. It's just a mishmash of random things they had lying around from other films.
Yes. Yeah. No, but that's why I wanted to mention it, because, like, this SWAT team looks hilarious, because they are... They're so badly done. Like I said, like, one will have, like, a World War I helmet, and then one will have, like, what looks like a 90s SWAT outfit, and then one will have, like, a more modern one, and it's just a mishmash. Like, they look like they went to the surplus store and just grabbed whatever, like, filled a bin full of stuff.
To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing that they would do.
But they're shooting at the mega wolf as the regular werewolves / normal wolves / B-roll footage of wolves growling that they could use multiple times in the movie to just fill air are shot at and attacking random people. And they attack Prospector Joe, but they don't show him dying, so I'm going to believe that character is fine.
Prospector Joe cannot die. He's the only thing worthwhile. He's too angry to
die. That's how it works. Man too angry to die.
He's too angry and southern to die.
So they grab the flamethrower of Prospector Joe's from the back of a different cop car, because his car was stopped, and I don't know how they got back there. Whatever. You
know that Prospector Joe on his own time says Kajigger,
yeah.
right? Anyway,
But
sorry, I'm just
Prospector-
having a big
look,
think about Prospector Joe. 'Cause it's the only
Prospector
thing
Joe
that
in his
matters.
own
I'm just tweeting
time,
you out.
dresses up like a ghost, goes into the mines and scares teenagers for fun. That is what
God, I
that
hope
character
so.
does.
That would be a better film. Yes.
So yes, they end up flamethrowering the Mega Wolf, which doesn't do anything. Then they shoot at the Mega Wolf, which doesn't do anything. Then they attack the Mega Wolf with a sword, which doesn't do anything. And then randomly, while girlfriend is on the ground, the sword starts glowing red, quote unquote, glowing. Which now it's strong enough to like attack the Mega Wolf, and she runs up and stabs it through the throat just so they could get another nudity scene with a different character.
Yeah, as she slowly transforms back to human, they of course have her be naked. So then she's laying there, and they can show another gratuitous shot. I think it glows red because boyfriend
Does he
dies.
die? I guess he
so then she's
dies.
all angry
Because he gets
Yeah,
attacked,
he does.
yeah.
and then she gets up and she's mad.
This-
so then she
This
channels her
character
power.
does fucking nothing in this whole movie except just randomly attack wolves.
Which one? I'm sorry,
All
you're not
of
being
them.
clear because that is
None
every
of
character
them
in this
do
movie.
anything.
Yeah.
They're fucking worthless characters. Just throwaways.
Like, okay, I wanted to read a few questions for you. So now that we've gone over the plot,
Before
I
you
wrote
get
down
to
a
the
few
questions, we
things.
have to talk
Okay.
about the Kool-Aid Man.
oh fuck, right?
Because we're not done with Becky. They had
oh,
to set up
yeah.
a sequel. So they locked Becky Sanders, not related to Bernie Sanders, into the prison of she's
No, she's the greatest
she's-
threat of all time. A
Yes.
socialist werewolf. Okay, I'm gonna end this scene real quickly for you. She tunneled through
She
the wall,
tunneled
and it's a
through,
perfect circle,
like fucking
and that's it.
Kool-Aid Man.
Who cares? It's so
It's so fucking dumb.
well, and they show it, and it's such a bad CG effect again, and it's like perfectly round. Like it's just
Yeah.
this amazing.
And then
hole.
of course she's still out there, so Little Dead Riding Hood 2.
Yeah, which is totally something they would do. Like again, these movies have a budget of like $50,000, and they just churn them out to fill a contract so that like Sci-Fi has
Yeah.
programming for 2 a.m. on a Friday night.
All right, what are your fucking questions?
Okay, why did the wolves attack?
I don't care.
Why did he get his kids?
Fuck
Why
off.
was Becky a character? Like,
Look,
Look. How? Well, okay, and like the reason why Becky was a character, I'm gonna answer my own
was
question.
for a sequel.
Well, and also so that they could do a twist. She's only in there as a red herring. She has no purpose other than that, which is the fucking stupidest shit. Anyways, how did the werewolves start? Like, why are they werewolves?
I don't fucking care.
It doesn't explain any. Like, none of these are
None
explained.
of it matters.
Why
Yeah.
did the main character, Little Dead Rotting Hood, why did she have to be dead?
You know what? That's a good question, actually, because she could have just been alive because she is in every scene anyway.
There's absolutely
So-
no fucking purpose to any of it. Like, they kill her, and,
Are you
and the
sure-
grandmother's like, "Oh, I had to sacrifice her," and it's like, wait, but why? The grandmother was alive and had those powers. Why does she have to make her granddaughter a zombie? Anyways, next
Was it for
question.
The Shrexy joke? Was that it? Was that
Maybe.
it? Yeah.
Why is her power to be a werewolf even though she's fighting them?
Underworld.
That's yes. Who were the wolves in the cave that transformed?
They were the three goth guys that said, "Hey guys."
But like
That's what they were.
a movie, an actual, I don't want to
There's no
call this a
setup.
movie. A movie would actually have, hey, these were the guys in town that have been like hanging around and causing trouble. Do you know what I mean? Like there would be a purpose.
You would see them in the background of scenes and then have a, "Oh my god!"
You'd have some reason for it to be those
Yeah.
guys, right? Like some of the teens at the party or something where it's like, oh, like,
someone, yeah.
they were tricking people the whole time. Like you'd have that as the twist. If it was an actual movie, you would have had them be connected in some way to the characters so that when they showed up and went like, hey guys, you were like, oh, it's those people. This is why the werewolves are attacking.
No, they were just 3 extras they could hire on the cheap for 15 minutes.
Yeah, like there's no reason
That's
for the
all.
wolves to attack. There's no reason for the
No.
guy to have gotten his kids. There is no reason for Becky to be a character at all besides to just be plot convenient for there to be a quote-unquote twist, which like an actual twist in a movie means that there's a reason to believe that somebody is doing something. Like there's no setup for her character. You don't get any like motivation for her. You don't get any backstory. You don't get like her interacting with people. She just shows up and then they tell her backstory in one cutscene where they go, oh yeah, she's attacked people because she likes wolves. And that's what they say.
Okay.
She's a
I have a
PETA
question
activist.
for you. Actually, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
How do you think that they afforded 2 separate ringtone sound effects?
I was surprised when they pulled out the second, because we noticed in the early part of this movie they have a couple of people phoning back and forth, and it's the same
They're all different
ringtone.
people.
Like there's like
Yeah.
the old cop is using the same ringtone as like the young teens and stuff, and I'm like, and it's not a default ringtone. It's one I'm like, oh, so that's just like a sound pack they downloaded. But then later on, one person gets a different ringtone, and it's like, oh, huh. I guess they found out there was like 2.
Yeah.
There were 2 ringtone sounds in their sound pack, and they realized it halfway through the movie.
The real mystery, though, is do you think they splurged on the second, or they just randomly?
Oh,
found
they
the second
randomly
in that
stumbled
same
across
pack,
it. No,
right?
they found it in the pack.
Okay.
Basically, what it was the first one was labeled ringtone, and they found that one. And then when they went to put in the second one, they saw one that was phone ring, and they were like, "Oh, there's 2 of them. Oh, I guess we should have used 2. All right, put that one in also."
Should we go back and change the other ones? No.
No. So here's the real twist of this, though. I have the real twist because I did some research while we took a break. We were talking how all of their movies are ripoffs of other franchises and stuff because they want to have somebody else spend a bunch of money on marketing, and they want people to like typo it in Google, or they want to like I said, Transformers and Transmorphers, they want it in Blockbuster to be side by side alphabetically, right? They want to try and get them alphabetically close, stuff like that. So when we looked it up, there is a Little Dead Riding Hood, which is not Little Dead Rotting Hood.
Yes.
That's a book.
And that's why she needed to be dead, because Little Dead Riding Hood had dead.
Wrong! That's the twist. This movie came out on January 5th, 2016. That one the book came out in August 2016.
My God, they ripped off an Asylum.
They didn't. Nobody ripped off Asylum movies, but like they accidentally stumbled across it on accident, or maybe they got wind that it was coming out. Like maybe there was some marketing promos of that book coming out soon. Like I'm not sure how they got it, because
they must have heard about it.
Yeah, like they might
must have.
Well, that's what I mean. Like there might have been some marketing around the book beforehand, which is weird. I'm surprised. Like normally that far back though, so I don't know. It's weird that it actually isn't like that, because normally what happens is you'll see like Transformers comes out. I'm just gonna make up dates because I don't have them in front of me, but it's like this kind of a timeline where like January 2013 Transformers will be released, and then they have 3 months to make their movie as fast as possible, slapped together, and Transmorphers will come out in April 2015, right? Like it'll come out 3 months later.
Like about when the direct-to-video version of the movie would finally release.
Yes, they do a
so
very,
that they
very
can put
tight
it on
schedule.
Shelves next to it. Yeah.
They do it as fast as possible. They do a very, very quick, tight schedule, slap it together, edit it as quick as possible, and try and get it to hit source shelves about the same time so that their direct-video version can go side by side with the actual one. And when you're in the store, you might, like I said, grandma trying to buy it for little Timmy for Christmas might accidentally stumble across the wrong one, and instead of getting Transformers, will get Transmorphers. And that's their business model. It's a fucking scam.
This episode has been really depressing.
Fuck Asylum! Don't watch their movies! Stop sharing Sharknado! I hate it! Don't do it! If you do it, you're a criminal!
Suggesting Sharknado, people, please.
They're
Okay,
literal
so-
scumbags. Like I don't use that lightly
Yeah.
either. Like you said like I was like you were, at one point when we were watching and it had the gratuitous sex scene, you were like, oh, like pervy director. I'm like, no, it's not. Like it's almost worse than that. Because it's not even the director being a perv. It's them sitting there and like having a marketing team, and they sit down and they go, well, our movies sell better if we have exactly 3.5 minutes of sex in them. So make sure that sex scene lasts exactly 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, that's what it is.
And then immediately end it.
Yeah.
Immediately cut it. We're done. Next scene. Okay, so we can bitch about Asylum for a while,
Yes.
and I think we've accomplished that. Let's talk about some good boys.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the good boys.
So we gotta rate the Mega Wolf.
We gotta rate the Mega Wolf. We've gotta rate the Goth Trio, and we have to rate. We do
And then we
The Bloodhound.
and then we have to rate
the Bloodhound, Cletus's dog.
and we have to rate Prospector Joe, who is the actual good boy.
Well, yes. You don't say that. That's the surprise, good boy.
No!
That's our twist. We're like Asylum. That's the twist.
What a twist! Okay, so Mega Wolf, shitty CG out of 10. Done. I don't want to talk about it.
God, like incredible bulk. That's what the Mega Wolf is.
Yeah. Okay. The goth boys. They're like, hey guys, fuck you movie out of 10.
I'm gonna give them a fabulous out of 10. They were pretty.
Okay.
They had a very good "Hey guys" delivery. That like they had some sass to them. They were only on screen for about 3 seconds before they started shaking uncontrollably.
And they left a
but-
better impression than most characters in this movie.
Their delivery was actually interesting because it was just so buck wild.
The Bloodhound. You know what? I actually like the Bloodhound.
The
The Bloodhound was very
really
cute.
It
Yeah,
was
that
a
dog
very like
was
bloodhounds
very good.
are. It was a very wrinkly puppy.
Yeah.
He was a good
Very
boy.
well behaved, like pets. We got to see the dog get pet.
We did get to see the dog for like a good 10 seconds of this film. We got a brief respite as the dog got really good pets.
And my boy, Prospector Joe. Oh,
A
guy!
kajigger out of a Cletus.
Cletus.
That's what I'm giving.
I'm gonna give him a hullabaloo and a jamboree out of 10. Woohoo!
Oh God,
that guy's great.
I want to say you fucking called it too. You said like he's gonna shoot the wolf and then he's gonna do like a down ho jig, and he totally
He did a
did.
jig.
He shot the wolf.
It was
and
so
did a
good.
jig.
It was so good. What a good boy.
That's rough cuts. Don't watch Asylum.
Fuck
This is our PSA on and our anti-Asylum PSA.
I would watch an entire movie that's Prospector Joe. Bring Prospector Joe back. Free him from Asylum. I am going out on the streets with a sign that says "Free Prospector Joe."
Joe from the Asylum. God.
Yeah!
Let Prospector Joe out of the Asylum.
Oh, that's actually.
I appreciate all of the support that we've been getting recently. Alright, we're done. Screw it. I don't need to thank anybody. Don't watch Asylum. Some of you have. Don't do it. Alright.
No!
Later,
Stop!
everybody. I was gonna say, it's actually not that bad that I had the problem where I missed the recording of like the first 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think the only reaction shots at all that matter are the last third.
Like,
The only time when it gets even vaguely schlocky enough to be worth it.
I don't even know if you need reactions, but we do need every scene that Prospector Joe is in.
Prospector, release the Prospector Joe cut.